Look, I don't know about you, but at times in my life, I need a little bit of a kick, a little bit of an inspiration. For a long time, I've seen these courses just like being recommended to me, like people who, like the Andrew Tate or the Tony Robbins or someone along those lines, the Lamborghini guy. You know, I've I've seen these guys around, and I've never given them a shot. I always thought they were pretty sketchy. Therefore, it's my inspiration. Wanted to know if these people are trash or cash. So essentially, I'm gonna watch advice from them on YouTube or whatever, wherever I can find content, and maybe these people might actually inspire me to watch their content. Because at the end of the day, if it helps you succeed even 1% of the time more, I think it's worth it. But even though he's this, I'm a truck driver and I have made it this far. I went to this seminar and I paid over $5,000 or $10,000. I took out a loan, and I went to this seminar and I did it, and it made me super successful. And now I'm a billionaire selling the same courses to you, the same ideas of you should take out a house loan just to watch a seminar of mine. So I always thought that part of him was pretty sketchy, and I also know about sociopaths and psychopaths these days. Like this guy, he seems very trustworthy, but he's very good at being that, even if he is or he's not. So we're gonna see. We'll react to one of his videos today. The RPM formula, the end stress for good. I don't know if it's gonna end stress for good. Let's watch the formula. I'm a little bit stressed. I have a lot of work on my plate. If it helps, I'll say this. At least for today, his content is cash or his content is trash. Let's go.
Get the result when all that happens. That requires a different way of thinking. That's the piece we got to get in you so it starts happening. So think of the RPM as your stress buster.
RPM is a stress buster. But what does RPM even stand for? That's what I want to know. Let's go. Okay, it's pretty dramatic. Okay, the yoga in the Japanese environment. I feel that. Result, purpose, and massive action plan. So results, purpose, and massive action plan. Let's go.
All these companies got kids, I got examples, I got my body, I got all this stuff. And then things happen. What do? You got to be able to respond, not react. That's the piece we got to get in you so it starts happening so often that it's automatic. Faster and faster. That's why it's called the rapid planning method as well. But it's a lifestyle. It's a results-focused, purpose-driven, massive action lifestyle. And that.
So he gave us a bunch of terminologies, and he said it's a lifestyle, and it's going to be slow, but it's going to be fast. What is he talking about? I still don't know. I'm watching
will produce a quality of life beyond anything you've dreamed about. It's not only worked that way for me, but anybody that I've worked with, any of the companies I've developed. That's why we can dominate over and over again. Because most people are so busy trying to react, solve problems, or figure out what to do, and they're always stressed because there's more to do than there is time for. I don't serve time.
I'm actually sitting on this problem. I want to be able to finish more things, but I just don't have the time for it. Let's see if this man, but so far he's just saying things that I want to hear, but what am I getting?
Time. That's what you want to have as your new belief system.
Oh, I want that.
And I'll tell you what I mean by that. For example, people know around me, I'm very clear. I'm here to get the result. We don't go to meetings to have meetings. We go to meetings to get a result, to make some decisions, to resolve something. We can spend the first 10 minutes connecting and loving on each other. And okay, now what are our outcomes? What are the results we're after in this meeting? What do we need to resolve? Let's make some decisions. That's what changes your life with action. That's what we do. I want to ask you, how did you take that impossible dream and convert it into reality? I want you all to figure out right now, what was the first thing you did to take this thing that seemed impossible and turn it into reality in your life? Most people, when you ask them what they want, you know what most people tell you? I don't want to live this way anymore. I don't want to feel like this. And of course, whatever you focus on, wherever focus goes, energy flows. If you're a classic perfectionist, then how they present and what they focus on how they adapt in positive ways, how they adapt in negative ways to challenges. So a classic person, they're really disciplined, they have to be in control of everything all the time, they're very orderly. And they're highly reliable and consistent because of that. They're very detail oriented. But because it has to be a certain way, they struggle to adapt to be spontaneous. A second version is the Parisian. The difference is they want it to be perfect also, but they want everybody to not only do what they want them to do, but they want them to feel of their approval. They want you to like them while they do it, right? And if they think that's not gonna happen, well, in a positive way, they're pretty accepting and non-judgmental. They understand the power of interpersonal communications. But if they feel like you're not liking them, then they struggle to follow through. They struggle to have boundaries or articulate, and they often are toxic to the level of people pleasing, and they don't follow through because what if somebody doesn't like it? So their procrastination is not, I'm not totally in control. Theirs is, if I do this, people won't like it. A third version is just pure procrastinator. These are people waiting for conditions to be perfect before they begin. So before they even start, everything has to be perfect. They over-prepare to the point of paralysis because they don't want to fail. So man, I don't want to begin until I know for sure I'm going to succeed. So let me give you a little phrase for all of you who have perfectionism in them, because we all have some of it, right? Perfect is the lowest standard possible. How can I say that? Because you know it's impossible for anything to be perfect. So as a result, you're just showing how committed you are, and then you either don't do it because it can be perfect, or you beat yourself up because it's not enough to show everybody how committed you are. None of which will be anything good in your life. Another version of this is the messy procrastinator. They start planning and doing things really well because they're very optimistic, and they pretty much are effortless at pushing through the beginnings, but they almost never complete. And why don't they complete? Because they struggle to stay focused on their goals, because their energy gets spread so thin, because they're optimistic about doing everything all the time.
You know what? I like all these breakdowns of personalities and different sections of what type of people finish things and get things done. So yeah, I do fall into the category of being overly optimistic, and I like that explanation. I'm just curious. Okay, he says a lot of things that actually does make a lot of sense to everyday people. But what is the solution, and what is this RPM formula that he's suggesting? Let's see.
And then they don't get anything done, or they don't get things done that matter. And finally, the last one is intense. That's someone who's focused on the outcomes above all else. We got to get this result. This is the goal. What's positive? They find it effortless and transparent. They're razor sharp to get the job done. What's not so good is, or people may feel stressed around them. If you recognize the pattern, then you can say, look, this isn't working. Let me just break that pattern. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, you'll get a map and still not follow through because you got this. I gave you 2 examples before we break of how you could down and dirty quickly make a little RPM block. A result, a clear purpose, and a massive action plan or a map. The principles you've learned so far. I picked somebody and I said, what's something you want to build a plan? And he goes, I don't even know how. I said, what is it? We'll do real fast. So we're going to start with the center. What's the outcome you want? And I pushed him until we came up with a language, and the language became, I want to resolve a plan for an event to raise $100,000 for scholarships for kids. It's our next question. What's our why? What's our purpose? What are our reasons? What are his? And he said, well, I don't know where it start. I said, most things start with brainstorming. So his first said, yeah. I said, well, then let's add it up.
I think so far he's telling you that in order to achieve big things in your life, you should have a clear map or clear vision of where you're supposed to go. So we've seen this many, many times of people who, have a plan or have a vision of where they want to go in life, and whatever category you fall under Tony Robbins, you should have these things down. Your goal, the big picture, and then ask your whys and ask everything in between. So, okay, it sounds pretty straightforward.
I'd have an RPM block like this for the nutrition plan, an RPM block, a second one that might be the exercise plan, another one on how we're going to support myself to follow through. So if you know what you're after, that's kind of where we start. How do I manage my life? I manage my personal life, personal categories, and I work on my professional life. Earlier we described, it'd be great if I gave that example. Remember, we took everything out of your house and we take it to the new house and we dump it all on the floor. It'd be stressful. But if you had predetermined kitchen items.
So basically, know what your goals are, be clear about it, ask your whys, write it down, and so then you know where it is, and so you can keep focusing on it. It's pretty basic advice. I think this video is good, not amazing. I've seen all these self-help things all the time, so I would say this is cash. Let's get the tickets. Let's see how much it costs, baby. $800 for what?